So here are 3 things that people aren't telling you about TikTok. Number 1, TikTok was the most downloaded app in the last 2 years. Number 2, anyone can get viral on it instantly. And number 3, you can acquire conversions for 10 cents a piece. Follow for more. So that's an example of how you want to structure your content. It's one way to structure your content, but I am going to walk you through how you can be successful on TikTok. My name's Mike. I am the founder of Realize Design, and I did some stuff previously. Worked in crypto on a trading desk in Chicago, and then before that, worked in private equity. But when we built Realize, what we built it to do was to be a 3D shopping platform. And it's a very visual experience, kind of like having a video game for your home. And so we didn't have a great way to distribute it. We didn't have a great way to communicate it. I really sucked at pitching it to investors. So I set out looking for some sort of visual medium. And we just had this huge communication gap between the way that our users described us, which was awesome, exactly what we wanted. You know, like kind of like The Sims for your home, being like a metaverse for furniture. And then I go to these investors, and they'd want to put me in this bucket with like AR apps that had come before, or they'd say like, isn't Wayfair doing this, or isn't Home Depot doing this? So the question was like, how do we communicate what we're doing visually? And so when I'm looking across the landscape, I'm looking at all the visual mediums to be able to communicate it. And with YouTube, you got to pay a lot of time or money to be able to produce this stuff. Reddit, we thought was going to be huge because there's massive like niche design communities there, people sharing pictures of their home, terrible conversion rates. And then everybody knows with Instagram, like if you don't have 100,000 followers, like ain't nobody looking at your stuff. So for us, it was just a natural thing to fall into TikTok. It's a huge network. Like I said, most downloaded app for the last 2 years, billions of downloads now. Costs no money to produce this stuff. I mean, the stuff that performs best, I've talked to hundreds of creators about this. I've talked to models who produce content on this stuff, and they're like, yeah, when I get it dolled up and when I'm like looking my best and doing videos, it'll do well. And then I'll do one where I'm talking about my life and I'm being emotional and I'm not dressed up, not wearing makeup, and that goes viral. And I couldn't tell you why. And there is a good explanation for it, which I'll dive into later. But then the last thing is the democratization of virality. And I'll explain why the virality has been democratized in a bit. But the key thing that you need to know is, like I said, anybody can get viral. I fully believe that anybody in this room can do it, because it took me like 2 or 3 months of focusing on it. It wasn't like hard. I mean, it was hard because you had to deal with the failure of like your first videos getting like a couple hundred views. But I firmly believe that if you follow a really simple formula and steer it towards your content, anybody in this room can do this and leverage this, and it is a huge opportunity. This is the one thing I want you guys to walk away from, is that short form video for the next 3 to 5 years is going to be the predominant medium for marketing, and anybody can make money off it. Anybody can succeed in it. The reason why it's going to be the most predominant medium is twofold. One, it's super easy to create. Like I said, the user-generated content that is super unproduced performs the best. Couldn't tell you why, other than a couple of things that I backed into that I don't know if this is exactly why, and then the other thing is it's so easy to consume. You guys all know like how easy it is to get lost in your phone and swipe. The average time someone spends on TikTok every day is 49 minutes. When you think about that over the course of a year, it's just a massive amount of time. And so for us, we as humans, we just end up defaulting to whatever is easiest to create. And so that's why I proselytize about this, why I share with other founders, other entrepreneurs. Like, look, you should be on TikTok. I know you can do this because I did it. I'm not anything special. And the reason why this opportunity is so big is you've got these 3 players, and there's more coming in. But right now, you've got the 3 predominant players. You've got Instagram and Reels, you've got TikTok, you've got YouTube. If you look at these numbers, there's a huge disparity here, especially when you take into account the amount of downloads TikTok has had and the amount of watch time that they generate. And so all 3 of these guys are fighting for a $70 billion market that's only going to expand. Like, people are going to continue to flow marketing dollars into these spaces. And so what that means for you and I and everybody in this room is that that pie is already huge and it's only getting bigger. There's so much opportunity for people to get viral, and these companies, they're already giving out tons of bonuses for posting free content, doing paid ads. It's unbelievable. It's kind of like the Wild West. And this is the kind of thing where, in 2005, if you went to, for us, we deal with furniture retailers primarily. If you went to a furniture retailer and you said, hey, you should be on SEO, most of them would say, okay, that's great, but we're really big at, out of home, billboards, print, that sort of stuff. If you went to them in 2015, they'd look stupid if they weren't, heavily marketing on SEO. It's the same thing with short form video, except it's happening at a much faster clip because people have seen the story before and they're moving towards it. All that is to say, again, for everybody in this room, huge opportunity. Case in point, this company Bartesian, it's basically the Keurig of cocktails. What you don't know about them is that they compete with Keurig. Keurig actually made a competitive product. These guys put them out of business because of one TikTok video. They had a gal who they had no idea who she was. She did an unboxing video at the beginning of COVID. And what an unboxing is, for all of you that don't know that term, it's literally opening the box and recording it and just spewing your verbal thoughts all over the camera. She did this video, got 10 million views, turned into millions and millions and millions of dollars of sales for this startup, Bartesian, relatively unknown. Within 12 months, Keurig, who had put $25 million into building a competitive product, shut the product down. So it just goes to show you what the opportunity is there. Bartesian reached out to this lady who made the TikTok video. And in the video, she said, hey, this thing's like Keurig for cocktails. You just put a little pouch in there and it makes you a little margarita. So they reached out to her and they're like so thankful, like, hey, is there anything we can do for you? And they're like, and she was like, I'd really like a t-shirt. Can you send me a t-shirt? They didn't make t-shirts. They literally went to like 1 minute teas or 1 hour teas or something, like ordered one, sent it to her. Like, okay, great. Thank you so much. Do you mind editing the video for us? And she was like, what do you want me to do? And they said, well, you mentioned Keurig for cocktails, and they're kind of a competitor, so maybe you could edit it and change that. And she goes, yeah, I'd be totally willing to do that, but I don't know how. This is my first video. So she literally made one TikTok. It got 10 million views, and it changed the lives of all the founders of this company. The reason why you're able to do this is because TikTok has what's called an interest graph. This isn't like novel or anything like this, but what you don't know is that Facebook and Instagram both used to be interest graphs as well. They shifted to social graphs, and it was a very strategic decision. They wanted people to see content based on who around them was looking at similar stuff. So on Instagram, you see what the people around you, what the people you're connected to, what they like, what they view, what they comment on. And then you see what the big heads, right, the most popular people on the platform are viewing. The problem with that is it creates convexity. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, concavity. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. With an interest-based graph, like on TikTok, you see what other people who have similar interests to you see. So it doesn't matter if you're Steve, Bob, Tim, John. Sorry, I just named a bunch of guys' names, so that's what came to mind. It doesn't matter who you are. It matters like, hey, if you're into DIY and furniture, you'll see what other people in DIY and furniture have liked and watched and commented on. If you like fishing, if you like sewing, like that's the kind of stuff that you're going to see. You're going to see stuff that's similar to what other people look at for content. So that takes your personality, that takes your following out of account, and that levels the playing field. TikTok this has been their strategy from the beginning. They said, look, Facebook, Instagram, they just make it a cool kids platform. We're going to take this back to the way that the internet was supposed to be, that anybody's voice could be heard and anybody could get popular. So that's the reason why this dynamic exists. Now I'm going to take you through the practical applications of it, and then we can do question and answer if anybody has any questions. So first thing, I would highly recommend you dig in and try and do this for yourself. If you're an entrepreneur, if you're on a growth team, I highly recommend you just get on the platform and start trying to create content. The nice thing about TikTok is probably most of your friends aren't on there yet, so you won't feel that embarrassed because they won't see your content. Plus, they're not going to see your content. Like, it's not like on Facebook where like your friends of friends will see your content. You're going to be getting distributed to random people you don't know. So I highly recommend you go on there because there's a lot to learn, because there's a lot of heuristics in how you create content. I'm going to give you a formula for how to do it, but there are a lot of heuristics and you got to be a part of it. Second thing you can do is hire micro creators, and we'll dig in more on this in a second. And then the last thing you can do is hire an agency. And so Tips for hiring agencies. I'm going to go through this really quick because I don't believe as much in hiring agencies, but I know some good people working at them. So if you're like, hey, I just need to get this off the ground, Mike, I don't care, I don't want to do it myself, money's not an issue. Okay. Two agencies I'd recommend on the video side, Be Creatives and Vidizy. Be Creatives, I have worked with Vidizy, I have not, but they were trying to get me to work with them, so recommend them to you guys. Don't care if you go on there. If you mention my name to these guys, though, you'll get 10% off. So quick plug. And then on the paid ads and content agencies, I got 3 up here. Yoke Network, they'll do paid ads for you as well as content. So they'll work with influencers for you and run everything. Jet Fuel is a really cool model where you tell them exactly how much you want to pay for cost per action, and then they'll distribute this to their influencer network, but you'll only pay how much you want for that action or for that conversion. And then Juice Media is a couple of young guys down in Atlanta that I've talked to who haven't worked with them yet either, but I highly recommend, get to this on the next slide too, I highly recommend you work with young people on TikTok. And it's kind of obvious why, but I highly recommend it. So if you want to go the micro creator route, which is basically like hiring influencers who aren't yet like monetizable influencers, this is how I recommend to do it. I would recommend putting out a LinkedIn ad for a job, for a creator job, and then reaching out to people through DMs. This is less scalable, but you have a lot better chance of like getting the type of person you want for your niche. This is going to get you a lot of candidates, but like for example, we've done this. We got very few candidates who were, had experience with furniture, designing, DIY. Advantages and disadvantages of both. The second thing is when you're assessing these creators, you only want to assess them on how well they know the algorithm. But you want to use their numbers of what they've done so far. I'll flip back to the other side to talk about the numbers. But you use the numbers of how many followers they have and how many likes they've generated to vet whether or not they know the algorithm, but this is the number one thing. How well do they know what pops on TikTok? And it's like these little tricks. Like when I was going through my pitch at the beginning, one of the things that I was trying to do is be really loud to catch your attention. I follow the 3-part system, which I'll show you in the second part. And then I use like little head gestures to try and like get you to like engage with me, because everything on TikTok is all about speed. It's all about being really fast. You have like 1 to 3 seconds between each sentence or each piece of content before you got to hit somebody with a transition or something to keep them from swiping up. And then the last thing is hire young people. Hire kids who are in college. They're super cheap, and they also know this stuff because they are, the average person spends 49 minutes on TikTok. They're spending 4 hours on TikTok every day. All right, so last part. If you're creating content, and this is a super high-level framework, I'm happy to, my contact info is on the next slide. I'm happy to lean in with anybody in this room if you want to get on a 30-minute call. I love helping people do this. I don't get paid for it. I'm a founder. I'm trying to build a company and go through the whole venture cycle, get to IPO, that sort of thing. But I've had so many people who've helped me and getting to this, and it's like I think anybody can do this, and I think there's a huge amount of opportunity. So that's why I like talking about it, because it's not like anybody's going to go out there and it's going to kill my ability to get reach. The more people who succeed off of this, the better my life will be. So first thing. Every piece of content has 3 parts. This isn't new. Advertisers have used this forever, but it's really simple. You have your hook, you have your content, and your CTA. Taking back to what I said at the beginning, the hook that I did was, here's 3 things people aren't telling you about TikTok. The whole reason why you use that is because you want people to lean in and be like, okay, what are the 3 things? Here's what I thought was going to happen when I went to the airport. Something that's going to set the scene for some type of narrative, some type of story. And then you can tell them whatever you want, because you've got them to stop scrolling. The number one objective with your content, keep them on your page, because TikTok decides whether to distribute your video to more people based on how the first 100 people engage with it. If they don't watch the whole thing, if they swipe through it, your video is not getting passed on to other people. But if you can do these little things, these little hacks to get people to stay and watch your content and consume it and give you a chance, because there's hundreds of thousands of millions of videos out there, then you have a chance to go viral. Second thing, your content, whatever that is, however it applies to your niche. For us, what we do is before and after content. So we have a 3D design app that you use to shop for your home. All the products are linked out to the retailer's website, so you can see what fits. You know, you can swipe through 50 different couches and just hit the shuffle button and see what works. So what we do is we do like a pano of a room. Then we do a little bit of like what it takes to set up the room. It's a little capture process of actually scanning the room with the app. And then we show like 2 seconds of somebody designing the room on the app. And then we show the after for like 4 or 5 seconds. Because at the end of the day, it's like Chip and Joanna Gaines. Like people care about the before. They want some sort of conflict and like build up to something beautiful at the end. And then the last thing is your call to action. So that can be different based on what your objective is. If you really want to build a large TikTok following so that you can cross-sell in something else later, you'd say, like I said, like follow for more or like this video so that they keep seeing your content. For us, for a lot of, if there's mobile game developers, mobile app developers in the room, which I assume because of the name of the conference, our call to action was basically, it was subtle. It was show people the app, but don't really even tell them what the app is, because if we can get them to like be thinking like, what was that? They'll either one, leave a comment, which makes other people like either respond to the comment, like the comment, also comment, and keeps them watching your video. Or two, they'll go to your profile. And in our profile, we have the link in bio. They click through, they download, it's super easy. So that's how we convert people. You can literally put it on the screen. Like people will put up a text title that says, follow for more, like this, hit the heart button, hit the plus button. But that's what you need. Hook, content, call to action. It's really simple. You just got to do it for yourself or whoever's running your content and growth team. The second part, the Picasso rule. One of my favorite quotes of all time, even though I would rather die being unique than be successful and be like the masses. On TikTok, I sacrificed my ego on this one. Pablo Picasso, one of my favorite quotes by him is, good artists create, great artists steal. And so with TikTok, it is no different. You need to follow the trends. You need to be similar to people. There's a really famous venture capitalist out in San Francisco named Andrew Chen. And he had a pretty popular blog post like 5 or 6 years ago, which said, when you're doing a startup, you don't actually want to be like 100% unique. It's the risk level there is very high. What you want to do is you want to copy 80% and then be unique on the 20% that counts. Same concept with TikTok. You want to be very similar to what people know because people are comfortable with what they know, they'll engage with what they know, and then you have a little bit of unique value in there. Whatever your unique value, it could just be your business, it could be how you shoot the video, it could be the sound, whatever it is. Last thing, the reason why TikTok has blown up over the last 3 years is because of COVID. I firmly believe this. After like going through building content, seeing what works, going through a lot of seeing what doesn't, the 3 things that sell on TikTok are videos that educate you, videos that entertain you, and videos that drive emotion. So whether that's somebody sharing their story or sharing the story of somebody else, something momentous, these are the videos that tend to pop. And I believe that what happened with COVID happened to simultaneously correspond with a huge marketing push by ByteDance, the company that owns TikTok, in the US. And you have all these people who are at home alone, and they are just yearning for community. They're yearning for connection. And so they start like making videos on this new app because they saw it. They don't have anything to do. They're working like 15 hours a week because no one's checking in on them. And they get viral. And all of a sudden, they have all these people who are tapping into that emotion side. They're responding, who are validating like what they're going through. And it creates this like just community effect, this like viral emotional effect. And so like with whatever you do, it's not like everything, like we realize, for example, none of our content is geared towards like a sob story. I tried doing my founder story as one of the videos, completely flopped. I thought it was gonna be great. It was not, didn't perform. Maybe we'll try another one in a few months. But people are just yearning for that connection. They really are. And so like whatever you can do to like hit on these 3 levels, that is what pops and that's what sells. And that's why this platform is so powerful, because anybody can create on it. Anybody can share their story, and they have the ability to get viral because of the way that the algorithm is set up. So those are all the tips I have for right now. If you want to reach out, I'm happy to connect. If you want me to talk to your growth team, I'm happy to connect. If you are like trying to do this for yourself, again, happy to connect. But yeah, does anybody have any questions I can answer right off the bat?
Would you say a TikTok strategy is relevant for any business anywhere in the United States?
It's a great question. So a lot of people have this conception that TikTok's only for high school kids who are just, shaking it and doing dances. That was true like pre-COVID. Again, because of like that, like COVID, like forcing people inside and people seeking connection on this platform, the audience and the average age has definitely moved up the curve. That being said, so we were a design app, right? It's a shopping app, but it's like the mechanic, what people engage with is like designing their room, designing their home. We were originally going after like my mom and her friends, like suburban parents who have money to spend on designing a home. We went viral with like college-related content. Like the first video that went viral for us was dorm-related content. Kept doing like content that would play to homes, content that would play to apartments, and the dorm content kept working. So for us, like we pivoted our entire strategy because it's a massive market. There's $71 billion every year that is spent on furniture and decor by college students and graduate students. I imagine the graduate students are a larger chunk of that, but I don't know for sure. But we've just had a ton of success with that content. I think part of being on the platform and being on any platform is that you have to know who you're going after with that platform, and you don't have to figure it out right away. But each platform is better for reaching a different group. TikTok definitely skews younger, but there's tons of people who are doing life hacks, money hacks, furniture, home, and design. So like concepts that play to older demographics.
In terms of outreach, you can't direct message them on TikTok, right? Unless they follow you.
Right, and
yeah. So what's the workaround? Like, are you searching on Instagram for influencers, or if you're going to do an outreach?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So there's a lot of databases that you can use for free. If you just look up TikTok Creator Database on Google, you can pretty easily generate lists with the freemium plans that they have. But TikTok allows you to link your Instagram through TikTok. So for what we do, we'll reach out to an influencer by clicking on, they'll either have their email linked out or they'll have a link in bio that has options to email them and whatnot. So yes, you're right. Like unless they're following you, you can't actually message them. So it's not through the TikTok Messenger that we reach out to them. It's usually through Instagram or through email.
Have you used the influencer marketplace?
On TikTok?
Yeah.
I have not really used it.
Have you heard things about it or any opinions on it? Like I've heard a couple things. I've used it once or twice. I'm curious, like someone who's done more of it.
Yeah, I've had people mention it to me. Honestly, I just haven't focused on it because we had other sources. Like the way that we got, so right now we've started hiring creators to just create content for us. The way that we did it was they had their existing accounts and we asked them to spin up a new account and then like drive traffic to Realize, our app, through their content. Didn't care how they did it, but assuming just because they know the platform and they've proven that they've figured out virality multiple times previously, that they could do that again for us. The way that we got those applicants was by doing a LinkedIn job description for the most part. We did do some more targeted ones where we were doing direct message outreach, either through email or through Instagram. But yeah, I mean, there's a ton of sources. I have another spreadsheet that I got from Apartment Therapy. I know the head of growth over there, and so she gave me her like just Excel, Google Sheet list of all the creators for them because we are pretty similar. Like people who are going to consume their content are people we want to be in front of. So I haven't, but to answer your question, I haven't really played around with that just because we've had a ton of inflow from other places.
You got a follow-up?
Yeah.
How do you think about pricing? Like on Instagram, it used to be per every 1,000 followers.
Okay, that was a great question. I actually forgot to double back to it on here. So I Photoshop these numbers in here. They don't have greater than and less than on TikTok on the profiles. I forgot to highlight it. What we look for is people who have less than 50,000 followers and over 100,000 likes. So you can probably find a better heuristic, but that was just really easy for me to keep track of and communicate to our team. But the reason for that is because anybody can get viral, it's really easy to get to like 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 followers. And so for us, that was pretty indicative of like somebody who had multiple viral videos, which is what we wanted. We wanted people who are like, we didn't want people who got viral once and then just kept doing whatever the heck they wanted. We wanted people who were really focused on how do I win on this platform and how do I figure out what TikTok's algorithm will promote and what it won't promote. And so, or at least what my audience engages with. So that was the heuristic that we used to figure it out. I don't know if that's the best again, but that was what we used.
How much do you pay them?
That I can't share, but I can tell you how we structure the compensation. We structure it so to start, because they were spinning up a new account. It's different if you're asking them to use their platform for you, because they're taking some brand risk. For us, we said we'd rather just have you spin up a new account and then generate the content however you want, build your audience however you want, and then drive people toward our app. And so for that, the way that we did it, when you start out on TikTok, you have to get to 1,000 followers. So you basically have to get one viral video before you can put a link in your bio. So before then, we had no way to track like how many conversions they're actually driving. Now that they have links in bios because they've gone viral, we can track by downloads. So the way we did it was like first month, we want you to post 75 videos. So that is 2.5 videos a day. And we want you to do that, and then you're going to be gauged on if you can get to 5 million views across all your videos, and if you can get to 1,000 followers, so you can put the link in bio. Once we got the link in bio, I'm sure you guys have all used deep links and smart links. We just put one of those in their profile, and then we can track it on that. And then from there, I don't really care how much content you produce. I just care that you're driving conversions for us. And so if you make one video and that goes viral in a month, great. I'd rather you have feel like you're on vacation, working for us. I want people to feel fresh and feel energized and creative rather than feel like you got to hit a quota of videos. But not everything goes viral. So it kind of does come down to having a certain amount of videos, like a threshold to get to before you can get to that first viral one. And then from there, you're just building off it, doubling down on what has worked, literally doubling down. There's an account called Brad Easy that I recently came across, and this guy, he had success with one type of video, and he did it on multiple settings and with the same sound. So what he's doing in the video, just to give you an example of how easy it is to create content, he's just walking, being cool, just doing this. And then there's text in the corner that doesn't necessarily relate to what he's walking. One of them, he's on a golf course, it does relate to golf. But then another one, he's on the golf course and it says something like, when your landlord forgot to check your rent this month. And he's just all positive. But what he's doing takes no work to do. It takes one buddy filming him and then typing out text. It probably took 15 minutes to produce, max. And this video got 200,000 views in the first 24 hours. So it just goes to show you how powerful this thing is, because on all the other mediums, on Instagram, you got to be perfect, right? On YouTube, the production level is so high. There's so much work that goes into it. You can't just do 15 minutes of work and slap something up there. For the most part, I'm sure there are people who break that heuristic, but for the most part, you got to put quality content out there. With TikTok, it is insane how you can put out the lower quality content and it way outperforms your good stuff. I mean, my first video I made for TikTok, it was what I want for Christmas, to redecorate my living room. I spent 14 hours editing this thing to Mariah Carey, All I Want for Christmas. I was this is gonna be great. I worked on it in September, end of September, beginning of October. It's I'm gonna launch it on Black Friday week. This is gonna be perfect. It's gonna pop, it's gonna go viral. Got 300 views. Our first video that went viral, my unpaid college intern filmed his dorm room. I edited the stuff together, put the text on it, posted it. Probably took a combined 40 minutes between him filming for 10 or 15 and me editing for 30, and it's done 3 million views. And so it's like, I can't tell enough people like how awesome that is. That, like, what a feeling of like, hey, I can buy all these little call options in the form of videos and put them out there, and like one of them's gonna pop. And as long as I don't get discouraged about the failures and just keep pushing and keep trying to find what works, like we're gonna be able to generate all these downloads, and we're gonna like be getting them for less than 10 cents when competitors or adjacent people in the market are paying $1, $3. I heard $8 for people trying to buy app downloads. So I again can't stress it enough. You can do paid ads on TikTok too. We do that. Highly recommend that as well. You want to ask about that?
Yeah. Have you tried putting paid dollars behind any of these, and is it the same strategy?
Yeah. So basically, the way that we do paid ads is that we only take like our best performing organic content, and we take it and put it in a separate account and then run paid ads there. Because one thing you gotta know about TikTok, they have business accounts and they have creator accounts or regular accounts. On a business account, you can immediately put link in bio. You immediately are able to link out to different stuff. The thing is, you miss like you can only use commercial sounds, and the sounds are a big part of your videos. For the most part, you should have a sound in every video, even if it's like the volume's turned completely down. You want to have like a trending sound, and with a business account, you can't do that for copyright reasons. So I highly recommend you do that as well. Like have a creator account where you're creating content, and then have a business account that you're running paid ads behind. The reason why I pulled this slide back up for the paid ads, we've noticed some wild things on TikTok. There have been times where we paid 20 cents for an acquisition, and there are times when we paid $2, like literally in back-to-back weeks. It made no sense. And this is before we had an account rep. Now things have gotten a little smoother, but they're still figuring it out. Their infrastructure is so weak. It doesn't even compare to Facebook, Instagram's ad manager, or Google's ad manager. Like these guys are like, everything's so much more robust. Their ad manager will crash. It's ridiculous. That's an advantage. That's an advantage to everybody in this room, because like anytime there's inefficiency and there's a lot of money on the line, there's a lot of opportunity to be had. That's what it was for me back in my crypto trading days. We were doing arbitrage across these different exchanges, and it was really basic. Like I was buying in one place, I was selling in the other, and I just happened to be fortunate to work at a professional firm where they could put tens of millions of dollars behind me and scale that up really quickly. These guys are doing the same things that the crypto exchanges did in 2017 and 2018. They are trying to buy market share. They're giving stuff away for free. And so whether it's organic content or paid content, these guys are literally, they're handing out freebies to people. Like, I mean, we get pinged with emails from TikTok like once a week. I'm sure they're gonna start coming with Reels in the next like month or two. I'm sure maybe you guys have heard about this or not, but Instagram is changing their algorithm so that social graph versus interest graph, they are changing to an interest graph because TikTok is eating their lunch. And so they're trying to get people on it because, again, they want to win this $70 billion market. I mean, it's just like stupid money.
One question on exploring trending videos.
Yes.
Since the recent changes that I think Discover tab is called, isn't there anymore, and now it's the Trends tab. What would you recommend here as the go-to strategy of how you can identify trends?
How to find trending content? Yeah. Your For You page. So like you should be, like for us, we don't really use the Discover that much. We use it a little bit. I mean, your ultimate goal is to end up on somebody else's For You page. For those who aren't on TikTok, the For You page is your newsfeed. You want to end up on there, so you want to see what's ending up on your content. That's another tip too. Sorry, I should have included it in the slides. If you're building an account and you're doing home design stuff, you probably don't want to be looking at and liking and consuming sports content on that account. Like you want to be consuming and commenting in the same stuff, because what TikTok's algorithm is doing every time is that you post is saying, one, is there, what kind of content is this? How do I bucket it, right? And to do that, they're looking at the text of your video. They're looking at the sound and other videos that have had that sound. They're doing computer vision analysis to see, like, does this video look visually similar to other popular videos? And then they're going to push it out to other people who have already liked that, because TikTok's whole goal is to keep people on the platform. So you're trying to help them do that, and they identify, one, is there a market for this content? Like what kind of content is it, and do people already watch this on the platform? And then two, how popular is this piece of content? And that's gauged based on how long people watch the video. Great. Well, again, if anybody has any further questions, Mike at realize.design. No .com. I've had so many people email realize.design.com. So anyways, thank you for coming. Appreciate it.